Hello and welcome back to another episode of RC Icons. So, another unboxing video. The last one I did was built cars and it was post running videos, so there was quite a few to get through. I showed my new Pro Radiant, my new Boost, new built car, and a bunch of others. In this video I want to get through the kits that came in throughout that time period. I've got, I believe, 6 kits to show you today. They all came in while the running videos were being aired, so I just want to get us caught up, and then that's pretty much everything that was scheduled to come in. So I'm going to start with my Tamiya kits. I had one Taiwan Kenny package come in last month that had 3 kits in it, and then there was another kit that I bought from an eBay seller out of Singapore. So we'll start with that first. So the first one would be a DB01 Triple R kit. I do have a DB01R, I'm sorry, a DB01 Baldry that's built, that's in the glass cabinet, and it's relatively stock, but I have every hop up I believe that Tamiya ever did for the DB01, along with some others that are non-Tamiya that at some point need to get put on the Baldry chassis. So the Baldry is going to get completely redone. I've got a new body kit for it, although I don't know if I'm going to go with the Baldry livery. So why did I get a DB01 RRR? Well, that's because of Mark at Mechanic After Hours. So his last video was the DB01 RRR that he built, and the thing was just absolutely off the hook, like off the hook. And I had an opportunity to buy this kit from Martin in Switzerland months ago, and I turned it down. It was just not something that was on my radar. I knew I was going to be building the custom Baldry and essentially doing the exact same thing, big bore shocks, you know, blah blah blah, and I was just like, yeah, you know what, I'm all set. And then Mark did his video, and I immediately started searching one out and found one for the same price that I would have paid Martin for. So it ended up working out perfect. So not a real great kit presentation. It's just a kit that's thrown in a box, right? That's how a lot of the special chassis kits from Tamiya came. But super excited to have it. So I love the big bore shocks in the it's almost like a bronzy anodized finish, and then it's got all the black alloy instead of the blue. So yeah, at some point we're going to do that with a custom body shell as well. We'll probably use the Baldry body as well. Mark had done it all black. He did a chassis protector underneath. But I'm not sure if this comes with carbon fiber shock towers, but I know I have a few sets, so I'll probably throw a bunch of carbon at it and, you know, hop it up a little bit more. But I really want that to be like a stealth version, where the other one will probably be more like a TRF style version, without copying Glenn's, because Glenn's is epic, but I don't want my channel to be copying all of his cars, although that's hard because I love every car he's done. So we're going to have to try to replicate it, but not copy it. So the next one, next Tamiya kit, you're going to have to excuse me because I'm going to skip over one here. Yeah, just because you'll see why in a second. So the next one would be an original Monster Beetle. So I have an original Monster Beetle that's built. That's right here in the glass. You probably can't see it, but it's got a Riri body shell on it. And I actually have an original body shell with the original full wrap glass and original decals. So it's an original chassis, and that had been restored, and when I bought it, it didn't have a body. And I was like, whatever, I'll just get a Riri body and Riri decals and finish the car. And then afterwards, you know, I say I'm not a purist, but then I just couldn't let it go. I couldn't let it go that there was holes in the sides for side view mirrors, and there was extra holes in the body, and then it didn't have the back glass, and it was like, This drive me crazy. So I ended up finding a body, not a body kit. It's actually got the whole box and everything, but whoever built the original car never used the body set. So I have the original body set in the original box that was sold on eBay. And it was short money. So it ended up working out perfect. So it was everything that I need to finish my original plus the box, so it worked out. So this is strictly just for my new unbox collection to go along with my Blackfoot, and yeah, I'm stoked to have it. So one of the other ones that came in, obviously this is an original because it's never been reread, is an Advanti 2001 new unbox kit. Now, same scenario. I have an Advanti 2001 down here that's not finished. It's a new build, never run, but it was never finished. I have the body set with the original box and the original decals. It's got the original sports tune motor, but the body set needs to be painted and decaled so that I can finish the car. I'll probably strip the car down at the same time just to give it a clean when we do get to that car. But I've got original egress kits. I've got an original egress to build. I have two original Advanti Mach 1 and Mach 2 sitting here, and I've got an original Advanti new unbox kit. Now I have the 2001 Advanti built, but I did not have the Advanti 2001 new unbox kit to satisfy my new unbox collection. Now I do, right? So that was the reason behind that. And these kits have been on a working list with Taiwan Kenny since January. So we do a list at the beginning of the year, and then we work off that list the entire year. So he takes whatever kits I tell him I want, and he puts them aside. For example, he just sent me an email the other day. He had found some kits in a carton that he had opened that he didn't even know he had. So he messaged me and was like, you know, I found these kits, which ones do you want? So I actually have a new unbox King Cab coming, a new unbox Turbo Rocky coming, which I've got a built one here that needs to be restored, but I don't have a new unbox. And then I already have a new unbox Rocky that came from him, but now I've got another one coming to stay new unbox as part of my new unbox collection. And then I got an Ultima RBR. New unbox kit. So out of the 10 that he found, those were the ones that I told him I wanted to take. So those kits will be coming sometime between now and January. And then I still have a bullhead, a clodbuster, a bruiser, and a mountaineer that are on the list from January of last year. And then the last one, the last Tamiya kit to show you from Taiwan Kenny, and this was sealed. When I opened it, I cut the seal. One you don't see very often, Tamiya Mud Blaster. And like I said, this was a sealed kit when I got it, so I took the seal off because I like to look at my new unbox kits. So this kit is brand new, not a mark on the box, absolutely perfect. And this goes with my Blackfoot and my Monster Beetle kit to satisfy my new unbox kits and my ORV chassis family. So that is like, I'm super excited about that one. Now some rare and obscures here. The next one would be SG Coyote, two-wheel drive. They did a four-wheel drive version of this car, and they did a two-wheel drive version of this car. So this kit will actually get built on the show. This is one that I brought in. I fell in love with the way this car looks. I think it just has a stance and a look. I'm not a huge fan of the front bumper, so I don't know that I'll fit that, but I think the rest of the car looks absolutely epic. So this is an Italian-made kit. Everybody I know that had one as a kid, now obviously it's not a well-known car, but people that I know that had them said that, you know, that they weren't very robust, and if you tried racing them on the track, you were hard-pressed to finish a race. I didn't buy it based on how I thought it would run. I bought it based on how it looks. I honestly just think it's absolutely awesome. So, the next one. Now, you've seen 4 Nichimo Pegasus Exceeds one new unbox kit. You've seen a Nichimo Spirit FF new unbox kit that I'm planning on building. Unless I find another one that's built already, but you've seen a Nichimo Luminous that's absolutely mint. The box is mint. I ended up finding another Luminous that was built, so now I don't have to tear that kit apart. So that's 3 out of the 6 that they've done. The other 3 that they've done are the Cosmo Shooter. They did the midships, which I plan on converting one of my XC Pegasus to. You never see the midships. And then they did, the other caged car they did was a 2-wheel drive, and it's called the Vantage. So this is another Nichimo new unbox kit. The box is absolutely perfect, and there's a little bit of a story, kind of a sob story, that I'll get into when I bring the camera over. But yeah, so now we've got 4 out of the 6 Nichimo buggies. And then my 4th video on the channel, and one of my favorite cars in my collection, is the Nico Brat. If you're not familiar with the Nico Brat, go back to my early videos. It was the 4th one I believe I put on the channel, and it was me painting up my original Nico Brat. I've got one that's built, and I show a new unbox kit in that video. In that video I talk about how when I took the car out to paint it, 3 of the arms snapped under their own weight, and how brittle the car was, and how I was really upset about it because I really wanted to run that car. Well, since then I've had all kinds of 3D printed parts made for that car. So now that car is going to come back onto the channel, and the chassis, the body is done, but the chassis is going to get completely redone. With new arms, new uprights, new steering knuckles. I literally threw the kitchen sink at it and had a bunch of 3D printed stuff done for that car, and it's all available on eBay now. My intentions were to not build the new unbox kit that I had. So the problem lies, I want a shelf queen, I want a runner, and I want a new unbox kit. So here we go again. Alien Mid 4 from Hirobo. I have 3 of them. RCL Incident. I have 3 of them. Nico Brat. I have 3 of them. So if you're not familiar with my first video, the Brat is made up of 2 kits. So you could build the Brat 2 different ways. You could take a Super Sprint that was made by Nico, and you could use the conversion kit, which was this one. You could buy this kit alone, and you could use a stock Super Sprint, and you could make up a Nico Brat. If you did not have this kit, if you did not have a Super Sprint and you wanted to build a Nico Brat, you needed to buy this kit as well. So these are all the extra parts that you would be stealing from the Super Sprint to make up a Nico Brat. So you can either use this kit and the Super Sprint, or you can use the 2 kits together to build one. So I brought in another one. So I have kit 1 and kit 2 again. So now I get to build one on the show, which is huge. I don't think there's ever been a new unboxed Nico Brat built on YouTube. Not only do I get to do that, but I get to rebuild the chassis on my built car and run it for you guys. So this allows me to do a lot of content on the Nico Brat on the channel. Now I also have a Super Sprint and a Dandy Dash that both need to be broken down, cleaned up, and put back together, and those cars will get run as well. Not only do I have the cars with all the period correct electrics, but I have the Upworks motors, which is absolutely phenomenal. So Nico Racing modified motors, fully modified motors. Now everybody thinks of Nico as being toy grade cars, right, from their childhood that you couldn't buy spare parts for. They were kind of throwaway cars. I'm going to be able to show you all 3 of their hobby grade cars, and specifically their race ready car. This ran at the IFMAR Nationals, and I believe it was 89 or 90. which is crazy. And it did well. It may have even podiumed if I remember correctly. So yeah, that is huge. So yeah, let me bring the camera over and we'll take a look at these kits in their presentation, and I'll explain a little bit more as far as what my plans are for them. All right, so we're gonna start with the Coyote. So SG Racing, Italian. Italian made, 1986-ish. I think it's 1986. So this is their two-wheel drive. They did a four-wheel drive as well, like I was saying. So this came, this is the bonus. Bonus edition. Comes with 6 precision machined hardened steel gears, transmission, ball bearings, wheel ball bearings included. So I don't know if that means it's completely ball raced. Two 4-wheel drive. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I think it comes in 2 or 4-wheel drive. 4 double wishbone independent suspension. 4 hydraulic adjustable shock absorbers, so oil shocks. All suspensions adjustable, camber axle, big diameter 52mm hubs, polycarbonate body, ultra lightweight, 3-speed forward mechanical speed controller with reverse, central positioned Mibuchi 540S motor, double upright metal chassis. So this has a sandwiched metal chassis, a lot like some of the AYK cars, like the Radiant and the Boost and the Pro Radiant. So the box, I just loved the look of the car, honestly, I do. I'm not a big fan of the bumper, although it looks huge, but the rest of the car looks epic, and I'm absolutely painting it in that box art with the checkers. The rest of the box is pretty standard. I bought this, I think it might have been eBay France. It was a buy it now price. It wasn't horrible. Probably way more than it's actually worth. But being a new unbox kit and something I didn't have already, I figured what the hell. So these are known for having very brittle wheels. It's a glue-on style wheel. It's not ribbed like today's wheels are. So you literally set the tire in place and glue it. A lot like Marui Shogun wheels. So that's your double-sided aluminum chassis, right? So it's just sandwiched. It's real narrow, runs down the middle. And then you've got your wheels, your tires, and your front bumper. No kick up. The way that it looks on the car, it's almost like you have to bend the bumper yourself. So I don't really understand it. But I'm building the car, so at some point we're gonna figure it out. Manual. So the manual shows 4-wheel drive. The box shows 2-wheel drive. So I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure if it's 4-wheel or 2-wheel, or if you can decide what you want it to be when you're making it up. I don't really get it. I'd love for it to be a 4-wheel drive car. It's showing 4-wheel drive. But again, until I build it, I don't know that I'll be able to tell. So this looks like a gearbox right here. Remember, parts bag 3, 9, 6. So the parts are individually labeled. Is there 2 gearboxes in this mess? Is there only 1? Yeah, I only see 1 gearbox, so I'm gonna have to assume that it's a 2-wheel drive version, and they just maybe use the same directions. I don't know, it'll be interesting. But there's the body. It seems more like today's polycarbonate. It's relatively thick. The wing is in the back. Sorry. The wing is in the back right here on the back side of the body. So it does have a decent presentation. The wing stay is separate. Hopefully all the parts are here. Seems like it's a full kit. Here's your mechanical speed control. Looks like you put it together yourself. Seems to all be here, so it'll be interesting to see. I'm definitely building it. If I run it, it'll be a light run because I don't want to break anything. But it seems like everything is there. So that's the Coyote. So the Vantage. So this one kind of pissed me off, I'll be honest. So I got this kit for relatively short money considering. So Nichimo did 2 caged cars. The midships, which was based off of the Pegasus Exceed 4-wheel drive with rear steer, and the Vantage was front-wheel drive based off of the Spirit FF. So this is essentially a Spirit FF for the most part with the Exo cage. So when the guy listed this on eBay, he had shown pictures of the inside. There's your manual. Right? He had shown pictures of the inside, and all the blister packs were intact in the pictures. So he doesn't say a word, sells me the car. Car gets shipped here, and I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna have a hard time deciding whether or not to build that kit. I get here, the blister pack has got 2 tiny little pieces of tape on it. There's parts rolling around all over the place in the shipping box. So the blister pack had released itself, and he put 2 tiny little pieces of Scotch tape on one side, just the top, not even like all the way around it to make sure. He had all the parts laid out in the blister pack. It's like, why wouldn't you just tape it down for good? So these are all the parts from the blister packs. I laid them back out inside to make sure that they were all there, and they are. But now it's either, if I wasn't going to build the car, I'd have to put the blister pack back together. But I think in all honesty, I'm just going to build the car. Because if it's a choice between having a new unbox kit or having at least a display model, I want to at least have the display model. So if there's a kit that I only have one of, and I don't have a built version of that car, then I'm most likely going to build that kit. So there's your gearboxes, your chassis, decals, original decals. Everything is here to build the car. And that was another thing I heard from people was make sure you inventory that kit because they're notorious for being sold missing parts. But this one's not missing any parts. So that blister pack is still intact. And then you've got the rest of your parts here. And then this has the same tires as the Luminous with that super pin spike like the Avanti that I was talking about in my Luminous videos, my unboxings, and my both Luminouses I showed. I talked about those pin spike tires, super pin spikes. So yeah, that's the Vantage. So kind of bummed that the blister packs had released themselves, but if I'm gonna build it, it doesn't really matter. And at some point, all my Nichimo boxes are mint, so I'm gonna try to display them somehow, maybe with the cars. So that's the Vantage. Next, we're gonna do Tamiya. So there's not much to see here, but I'll show it to you anyways. So the DB01 Triple R. So it shows the plate being in black. They are plastic shock towers, but I've got carbon ones to fit. The big bore shocks are in that, like I said, that brass kind of color instead of the blue. And then when you open the kit, it's just thrown in there. I don't even know if there's a special decal set for this car, but you've got your manual, your belt, and then all your parts. looks like there's two belts in here. I don't know if one's different from the other. I thought it was a single belt drive. I didn't think it was a dual belt drive. But in here is all of your black alloy parts and all your parts bags, and then you can see that shock is not the standard big bore color. It's more of like that brassy color. So yeah, I'm super stoked that I got it, and I'm glad that I got it for the same price that I turned Martin's down, because I would have been really upset if I had turned him down and then went and paid even more money for one later. I've done that with a couple of things because I'm an idiot. He offered me a 511 at one point that I turned down like a moron, and then I should have bought it because it was a great price, and I didn't. And then I ended up asking him later, hey, do you have one? All right, so check that thing out. How sweet is that? Put it in the comments. When's the last time you saw an original Mud Blaster? Now, when I say that, I know it hasn't been reread, but they did a Mud Blaster 2, if you weren't aware. And you see the Mud Blaster 2 new in box still on eBay. I think it's a polycarbonate Subaru Brat body, not the hard body. And then the livery's different, chassis is completely different. So, when I say original, I mean the first version. So, an original Mud Blaster, when it was the last time you saw one new in box? I don't know that I've ever seen one new in box. I've seen built versions with the box and manual, but I've never seen a new in box. So yeah, I have one that's green that needs to be restored, and I've got everything to do it. Original decals, original body. But this, I had never seen a new in box Mud Blaster. So when I saw this in Kenny's collection, I absolutely put my name on it as fast as I could. So that's your presentation of the Mud Blaster if you would have bought it back in the day. So you've got your Beetle, essentially the Beetle tires. You've got your yellow, somewhere in here is your yellow Blackfoot wheels. And then you've got your Subaru Brat body. Right? The decals and manual are down underneath. You've got your original blister packs. Now this kit was sealed, so this has never been opened. The tape is still secure on both sides, and I'm not building this, so I'm just going to leave that alone. It does have a couple of bearings in the kit. I'm not sure what they were for, and then it's got, this literature was in there from whatever the year was. I'm not sure when the Mud Blaster came out. It's 58077, so it was the last one, I believe. But yeah, it's got all the big wig. You know, it's just an MRC little catalog that's got a bunch of the trucks in them. Blackfoot, number 58. So yeah, this is a huge piece of my new in box collection, because now I've got the Blackfoot, the Monster Beetle, and the Mud Blaster all new in box. Now this is one that's got some presentation to it. Advanti 2001. So I'll show you the box art first. Box is in great shape. This was one of those question marks by Tamiya, where you know, they redid the Advanti but on the egress chassis, but they still put the cam lock wheels that everybody hated, the wider tires. They went to, instead of high caps, they went back to plastic oil-filled shocks. So a lot of people were upset that it wasn't like an egress, but an Advanti form of egress, you know. So there's a kit presentation. Right, so Advanti 2001. Got your FRP chassis, your gears, all your parts laid out. Your Sport Tune motor that it came with, your UJs. It's got your Series 2 uprights, or Series 3 uprights, I'm sorry. Yeah, your Series 3 uprights. Just an absolutely awesome piece of history right there. Manual and decals are underneath, so I'm not going to take this out. I don't want to mess with it, to be completely honest, like at all. So we're just going to put that off to the side. And again, this is just for my new unbox collection. I'll show my Avanti 2001 at some point when I finish it. And then my original Monster Beetle. And again, this is just for my new unbox collection, because I've already got a built one. So there's your original presentation of the kit. You've got your original tires up there, your blister pack box. You've got your original body that does not have holes for the mirrors. It does not have the extra hole for whatever the hell it was supposed to be in the hood. And there's your original wraparound glass. So yeah, this was huge to get this one as well. And then we're gonna finish things off with the Nico Brat. So I figured if I was gonna show you the second kit, I might as well break the car down, because this is what it's all about. So in my 4th video on the channel, I finished this Brat. This is the original body by painting the body. So this is a TBG wing with an original body, original decals. The body was clear when I got the car. And when I had taken the car down, 3 out of the 4 lower arms just snapped under their own weight. So I had talked in that video about how I wanted to run this car, but I was devastated that the arms broke. And not only did the arms break, but one of the wing mounts broke. And the wing mount is part of this rear suspension rear guard. It's molded together, so it's kind of a poor design. So this car is kind of glued back together as it stands right now. And I was talking about how I was worried if I drove it, it's just going to come apart. It's going to shatter, right? So the uprights are fragile. I know the arms are fragile. When you look at the car, it's belt driven. It's got UJs all the way around, oil-filled shocks, FRP chassis. Just a real, like, this is not what you're used to seeing with Nico. It's been run a few times. There's a couple of scuffs on the bumper, and there's a couple of scrapes on the bottom of the chassis. It does not come with an under tray. So, because I wanted to run the car, after I did that video, I got to work, and this is not 3D printed. This is CNC Durlin. Arms, uppers, and lowers. The wing mount that was broken, and it's way thicker and stronger than the original ones. Rear hubs. That's the other part of the wing mount. Front knuckles and front C-hubs. So this car is going to get overhauled with all of these parts, and then I'm going to be able to run it, because there's really nothing left that can break. When I say that, I mean I could break the gearbox or something like that, but I don't know that I'll be running it that hard. And then Jason at True Vintage, I had commissioned him at one point because he's painted some pretty epic Brat bodies that are on Tamiya Club. So, and obviously we're friends. You've heard me talk about him quite a bit. So I asked him, you know, if I could pay him to paint me some bodies, and he said that he would do it for nothing. He actually had the bodies. He didn't even charge me for the bodies. So he painted me up 2 bodies. So we have this blue one that he did. And all this is obviously paint. All of this is paint. You know, the orangey yellow that's coming back into the red. All the decals was him. The black at the bottom, the black around the back. He did all of this himself. He painted this up, and he did the wing to match. So I've got you know, some pretty epic bodies here. Not that I would run these. I think I would actually run the original one, and these would be my show bodies. So all the green is done in paint around the window, and then the windows on this body is yellow, and the window on this body is smoked. But that gunmetal gray with the red, it's all metallic, right? Just looks epic. So yeah, he did me a nice job with the decals and the paintwork on getting those two bodies done. So if this is my runner, then I'm absolutely going to need a shelf queen. And by buying this kit, it's going to allow me to do a shelf queen and still have a kit for my new unbox collection. So this is kit 2. My 2 kit 2s. And you can see they're exactly the same. So this is the kit you would need if you didn't have a super sprint to do the conversion. You've got your diffs there, your UJs are there, your oil-filled shocks, your tires, and then there's a bunch of parts underneath. I think it's all your hardware bags, because most of your hardware you would have needed to take from the super sprint. So now we've got 2 kit 2s. And now we have 2 kit 1s. And these are obviously super rare kits. I've seen 3 for sale in the past 2 years, and I've bought in 2 of the 3. So kit 1 would be your conversion kit. It says it right on it, conversion kit if you had a super sprint. I actually have a super sprint, but I'm not going to convert it. I'm keeping it as a super sprint because I've got both kits. So that's your kit 1. So there's your chassis, your body, your shock mounts, your arms. So the arms are the same look as the Dandy Dash and the Super Sprint, but supposedly they're like a couple millimeters longer to give it a little bit wider track. So one of the brat boxes inside is upside down. So original decals, original bodies. And then my first kit did not come with a manual, but my second kit did. And I was talking about that in my first video. That's stapled in, so I'm not going to yard on it. In my first video, I was talking about how I didn't have the manual, and I had shown a picture of one from Competition X. But now I have that poster-sized manual that I was showing. So it shows the ball diff completely broken apart, and then, you know, it just gives you breakdowns, and then on the other side is more of your detailed manual. It's all in Japanese. None of it is in English, but at least it gives you a breakdown. And it does have, everything is labeled in English. Well, maybe it is in English. I just couldn't see it. So, center differential gear, tooth belt, rear differential. So this is a triple diff. This does have 3 diffs, and they're all ball diffs. That was one thing I was not sure of. So yes, the Brat does have 3 diffs, and that's one thing that, like I said, I wasn't sure of. I knew it had ball diffs, but I didn't know if it had a center ball diff. So yeah, I'm super excited to have the second one, and now I get to build a Brat from new unbox on the channel. I get to rebuild my Brat on the channel, and I get to run my Brat on the channel. So yes, absolutely over the moon once again. So let me put this stuff away, get you in for a closing, and we'll end this video. So yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of RC Icons. Figured I'd throw the Mud Blaster up next to me, just because you don't see it. Yeah, just another epic week. Or it was actually over a couple of weeks. Don't get this wrong. While I was doing the running videos, these were the kits that basically came in over that 3-week time period. So yeah, epic kits. I'm just, you know, it's just another great couple of weeks where kits were just coming in, and being able to build a Nico Brat is absolutely awesome. Now, I had those parts made, but I was still like, if I run that car, I'm gonna have to run it real light, and now that's my runner. So that's absolutely awesome. And then I can obviously order more of those parts if I need to. So that's a big deal. So now I'll have an Alien Mid 4 runner, an Incident runner, Brat runner, Dynablaster runner. You guys haven't seen that yet. It's coming soon. I did get another one. And it's not a kit, it's a car. It's a built truck. But yeah, I have a Dynablaster runner. I'll have a Nichimo Pegasus Exceed runner. So yeah, I'm putting together a nice little collection of runners that I can go to and run anytime I want and not worry about scratching them or whatever. So it's going to be great. Just really looking forward to that. But not only that, being able to build a Brat from new unbox is going to be absolutely awesome. Can't wait to build that Coyote, to be honest. It might not be too long. I don't know what it is about that kit. Now, some people that might know it will be like, that thing's a piece of crap in the comments. Who knows? I don't know. But it's not even about running the car. It's just about the looks of it. I fell in love with it. I don't know if it's the box art or what. I'm excited to try to paint that box art with the checkered flag. Now, I am not the best painter. Like, I couldn't paint those Brat bodies the way that Jason did. But all I've been watching lately is like airbrushing videos on YouTube about painting Lexan bodies, because I've had a hard time finding a painter. I have a Worlds car, original Worlds car I need painted, a Boost that needs to be painted, a Pro Radiant that needs to be painted, a Predator X10 that needs to be painted, a Tomy Intruder EX original body needs to be painted. I have at least 10 bodies that I want to have professionally done. Not to mention any of my custom cars that I want to do. My TRF cars I want custom painted. So I've got a lot of body shells that I really want to have custom painted. But I feel like trying to find a painter is like impossible. I don't know what it is. And I don't want to have to, nothing against the guys that are in the UK and stuff. Like, that's awesome. I'm glad they probably do a great job, but I'm trying to find one in the States so that I'm not sending one through customs twice to get something done. So yeah, I've been really intrigued about, custom paint work, and I've been watching a ton of videos. Not that I'm just gonna all of a sudden overnight become a custom painter, but I may venture into just buying a bunch of like whatever bodies from Proline or wherever, just cheap bodies, and trying to learn how to airbrush custom paint. Now, on YouTube they make it look incredibly easy, and I know that it's incredibly not. But if I trash a bunch of bodies that are, that are just waste bodies anyways, trying to figure it out, if I can figure it out, then that would be just awesome, because I'd love to be able to do that kind of work and on my own stuff. But anyways, I digress. This video is long enough, so I apologize. So yeah, hopefully you guys liked what came in. Let me know in the comments what you think of all this stuff. And if you're not already subscribed and have your notifications turned on, I've had a bunch of subscribers say that their notifications are on and they're not being notified. Make sure that you hit the bell and you click the all bell at the top. It's the only advice I can give you. Now, I'm subscribed to a bunch of channels. I turn the all button on and I get notified of every single video that those channels put out. So that's the only thing I can think of. So make sure that you're subscribed. You turn on the notifications, but not only that, you hit the all button at the top of the notifications tab. Other than that, throw me a thumbs up. Let me know that you like the cars, and send me a comment. I reply to every comment I can, and that's really where it's at for me. I love the interaction between you, the viewers, and myself. So yeah, let me know what you thought. If you had a Coyote, let me know. Was it a piece of garbage? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Weak wheels, strong wheels, all that stuff. I can't get enough of the info part of it. But yeah, until next time, we'll see you soon. Thanks.